And so, here we are again, my last 10 albums of my favourite 30 albums of the year. As usual, if there was something that you liked, either I talked about already, I liked it but it wasn't on the list, or I didn't like it so it's not here anyway. And hopefully these lists will get some people to consider getting into these bands, because so far you've got 20 albums to consider checking out from the past year. I'm about to give you 10 more specifically my last 10, and I can't wait any further, so let's just go. Number 10. Felicity. Dear Universe. One thing I went over this year more than most of the things is the experimental side of punk rock. Turnstile, Calling All Captains, and Authority Zero are great prior examples, but few did it with the upbeat vibes of Felicity. Which is impressive as this is their first full length, so it's nice to see that they don't waste any time. They have a great sound and fun energy of their own, but it's the depth of the songs and the versatility of the pacing that adds so much to a brilliantly put together and damn catchy slice of pop punk goodness. Number 9. Blood Youth. Visions of Another Hell. A couple of years ago, I happened to stumble across Blood Youth's previous album Starve, which made my top 30 in the first year that I started doing them, 2019 to be more precise. Their third album is a more than worthy follow-up. Granted, I am giving it sympathy points as it's the band's last with vocalist Kaya Tarsis, but goddamn what a mark to leave in his wake. It's some of the band's darkest tones, some of the most personal feeling material, and some of the most emotive at the same time, and honestly, fingers crossed for new vocalist Harry Rawle, I hope he does well. Number 8. Ice Nine Kills, The Silver Scream 2, Welcome to Horrorwood. A few albums in 2021 where I was able to just enjoy specific songs individually as well as put together, and Ice Nine Kills Horror Movie Inspired sequel to 2018's The Silver Scream was definitely one of those albums. I love the theatrical performance aspect of it all as well as the campy nature of it, and yes, I am a sucker for references and puns, which these guys are as great at as they are capturing horror atmosphere alongside some just straight banging metalcore tunes. Sharpen the knives, get your masks on, and get to killing with this one. Number 7. Employed to Serve, Conquering. I hope you don't mind, but we're going to stick with metalcore for a bit, but from the UK and without the horror movie stuff. Employed to Serve have always come across as a band earmarked for success, and hot take, I like this album more than I like Spirit Boxes. Which isn't fair though, as Employed to Serve have been around longer, and good god this album is a blast. It's a non-stop barrage of heavy metal mathcore greatness with amazing political lyrics, lead singer Justine Jones' best work on the stick, and some gorgeous production. It came, it saw, and it kicked ass, and it conquered. Number 6. Genesis Owusu, Smiling with No Teeth. Now to jump to a vastly different genre, which doesn't narrow this album's sound down in the slightest. Australia didn't have a stronger year as they did in 2020, but this might have been the best album to come from their land down under in 2021. Genesis just has a likability to him with his writing, a rawness and openness that wasn't on many other rap albums this year. Couple that with an experimental indie electronic punk sound, some dance smooth production and a lot of songs, and you got yourself a grim worth having. Number 5. Black Dresses, Forever in Your Heart. It's fitting that an album is titled this because this is Black Dresses' 5th and last album. How long were they around, you ask? Oh, only about 4 years. They had to split up earlier in 2021 due to both of them being bullied for both being trans women, and honestly, fuck the people who did that and fucking right, this album fucking rules. Bits in the face not just of those bullies, but of noise pop conventions in general, tied together with a dark industrial edge, and some of the best middle finger lyrics I think I've ever heard. I need to do a bit more research on these girls, and it's a damn shame what happened to them. Hopefully they come back stronger. Number 4. Cheap Meat. People Are the Worst. About 7 years ago, I heard the song Sweetness Take Me Back by these guys on Kerrang, and I was waiting for ages for an album to drop that was an actual album, and baby, that wait was worth it. I brought up likeable and charming bands all year, and these guys might be the apex of that in 2021. It's got some of the most saccharine songwriting I've heard in the year, and it also has some of my favourite guitar work and some damn catchy structuring as well. Hopefully I won't have to wait another 6 years for the next one, and this album deserves a lot more love than it gets. Number 3. Just a Mess. All Things Beautiful. This was a band I happened across at the start of 2020, finding out too late that they dropped their debut in late 2019. I did like it, but I couldn't really review it in the context of 2020 because, well, it didn't come out in 2020. Thankfully, their sequel came out in 2021, I reviewed it, and damn right, I loved it. This album takes what I liked about their debut and cranks the notches up by 100. So much richness to the songwriting, such great production to tie the style together, great performances and presentation. Just a damn exceptional album, but we have 2 more to go through. So this is typically the point in the list where I just do my top 2 and be done with it, but I went around and around with my top 2 for 2021, perhaps more than any other year before. I think both albums are perfect from top to toe, honestly. Perfect encapsulations of how 2021 felt, perfectly fleshed out for their respective bands, and perfect in so many other ways, but I'm not going to put them at joint place, and I listened to them back to back so much this year that a very tough decision had to be made. With that being said, what you're about to witness might surprise you. Number 2. While She Sleeps, Sleep Society. I know, honestly, I'm as surprised as you all are. The first year since this is the 6th where these guys are not my favourite album of the year. But obviously this album is up this high because it's so good. It's their first one where they got more of a say in things, and they made a hell of a statement about the industry and how fucked it feels right now because, yeah. It also helps immensely that the album is just phenomenal from all involved, with everything hitting and landing, and it ends with a thank you to the fans who helped to make it all happen, and I just wish I put some money on it. Okay, it's not my number 1, but these guys are my favourite band possibly ever, and I'll never not put them in a best of list. Sometimes when the year is over, when you really think about what your favourite is, you want a memento, a token, or just something to remember it by. Number 1. To Kill Achilles, Something to Remember Me By. I probably shouldn't have put this album in the top spot. I know it's a bleak concept album about a main character who contemplates taking his own life as he recounts all of his past sins. In 2021, of all years, that would usually feel unnecessary, but I just couldn't bring myself to put it any lower than either this or number 2, but 2 is taken now, so here we are. It's their first full length in 8 years as well, and my first album by them, yes, but I was anticipating this for a long time. I didn't expect it to take the route that it took, I didn't expect it to hit as hard as it does, and I really didn't expect for so much of it to stick with me, and this thing came out back in February last year. I honestly cannot say enough good about it. The instrumentation is crushing, melodic and well done, the self-referencing and callbacks and lyrics bring a small tear to my age time, the performance is so believable and so real, the production is such a gem that makes the rough sound work, and the structuring is brilliant in pacing, timing and payoff. The main character crows that he wants something to remember him by in the album's closing title track, and considering how heart-wrenching, how heavy, how perfect this album is, I would say it's going to be a difficult one to forget. So that's it, the top 10 all sorted. Honestly, it was such a struggle picking the number 1 between To Kill Achilles and While She Sleeps, but I love both albums equally, and I love pretty much all these albums, but you know, these were the 2 that I kept cycling around in my head, like which do I prefer, and I kept going back and forth over and over so many times, and for some reason To Kill Achilles just kept edging out While She Sleeps, so yeah, there you have it, that is my favourite album of the year, and I couldn't have asked for a better one at the sort of turn of the new decade, if you want to call it that. But that is it for this video. As for what's next from me, well, hopefully tomorrow night I will start streaming Resident Evil 7, Let's Playing that, so that is the main goal. As for what's after that, no Fight of the Night reviews planned, because there's not another FightCon until next weekend, I don't believe. But if I can get the stuff out by then, possibly Music of the Week. Possibly I can get my Rain on Your Parade Let's Play done, because I'm still editing that right now. And possibly could get the backtracking stuff done for today. I'm only 2 albums in, so we'll see how that goes. But that is it for that, and I can't really think of much else to say. I hope you enjoyed the albums that I brought up, or even if you didn't listen to them, that was a good time, now that the top 30 is over, and I'll see you all whenever the hell I see you, most likely on Monday. As always, thank you for watching, you're awesome. Bye bye.